Hello there. Control your insolence and concentrate. It's time for Most Things Kenobi.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Most Things Kenobi, a podcast about Obi-Wan Kenobi and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, Leanne.
And I'm your host, Lauren.
I did it. I continued to watch Skeleton Crew. I did it for y'all out there. I did it.
Thank you.
And that's what we're talking about this week.
I hope it wasn't too much of a sacrifice, but I understand if it is.
I had a 5-hour layover when I was coming back from visiting my parents, and it was the best thing to do during that 5-hour layover. So I found myself a quiet spot, and I had my little hot chocolate from the coffee shop.
Nice.
And I just snuggled in and said, well, I got, what else am I going to do with my time? And honestly, I didn't hate them as much as I hated the first two episodes, although I'm still forcing myself to stay. There's a lot of times where I rolled my eyes, but I'm trying to not do that.
I understand that because I do feel like these two episodes were not as good as the first two. And I actually found myself kind of doing the checking your watch thing on the fourth episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Never a great sign, but...
No, there were nice things about it that I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of cuteness. Well,
yeah.
Before we get too deep, spoiler alert.
Yep, give it to them, Lauren.
Here we are. We are going to talk about episodes 3 and 4 and possibly 1 and 2 again. It might sneak in. So if you haven't watched Skeleton Crew yet, stop now. Go watch, then come back because we are not going to hold back on spoilers. So let's go.
All right. Shall we start with episode 3?
Yes. Dead silence.
Well, I don't know where to start.
Well, I guess it's where, and I don't know Jude Law's character's name. I know that they refer to him as Red-Handed Jack, but is his name John?
Possibly. He has a lot of aliases.
Yeah.
No, it's Crimson Jack, because I kept thinking Crimson Dawn every time they said his name, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I have to check now, because I thought it was a Peter Pan reference.
Oh, was it? See, I don't remember. I don't even recall a single detail from Peter Pan other than there's a girl in it.
What? There's a girl in it. I love that.
In a nightgown, and they're on a boat or something. They fly away on a boat out a window. That's
true.
All I know.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was Red-Handed Jack because I'm an idiot.
Well, that's probably what you were thinking because of the cross reference there with the crimson and the red and the jack and the hand and the...
Yeah, because in Peter Pan...
Jack Handy.
Jack Handy, oh my god, that's a throwback. I used to have the Jack Handy books.
Oh, yeah.
That's from early 90s, late 80s, early 90s?
When I was in my prime.
Yeah.
All of 10 years old.
Well, I thought it was Red-Handed Jack because that's what Wendy decides to call herself if she's going to be a pirate in one version of Peter Pan. She's going to be Red-Handed Jill. Jack and Jill.
I see.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But apparently, I'm an idiot and totally misremembered what he was called, so never mind.
It totally makes sense why you thought that, though, because of the red,
Well, and it's all, it's basically just one giant love letter to Spielberg movies, and I totally forgot that he did Hook, so...
He did do Hook. Yeah. He did do Hook, yes.
The only thing missing is Robin Williams.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, I do love him.
But Jude Law's intriguing. The Jedi references and the Jedi, he's obviously not, right? It's just another guise for him to fall under. Right. Although, can he use the Force? Because he must.
I think so. I think he's Force sensitive, but he's not a Jedi. I think the kids just projected Jedi on him, and he was happy to not refute it.
Sure. Whatever you want to call me, I am.
Yeah.
And and he wasn't wrong to say the Force flows through all of us, because it does. It's just some people know how to use it and tap into it. Other people just ignore it or don't feel it at all. It's just, that all made sense to me. Apparently, the nerdy girl with the headset, she's my favorite character, believe it or not.
Yeah, she's
the
great.
one I identify with. Like, if I was a member of this like little crew of children, I would probably be her. The one that thinks too much.
I would be the elephant.
Oh, but I love him so much. He has
really
a
is.
heart of gold.
He does. He's really precious. He's just an absolute precious character.
He's the Sam Gamgee of this troop of children. For anyone who understands Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sean Astin of the group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm intrigued by Jude Law's. He obviously knows what goes on. He knows some lore. Mm-hmm. He knows enough to get him in trouble and enough to get them out of trouble. Mm-hmm. He's a jack of all trades, but we don't know what exactly he is or where he comes from or who do you work for? Like, whose side are you on? It's a lot of scumbags and a lot of what's the word? Like scallywags?
Yeah, like
is that the word I'm looking
ne'er-do-wells.
for?
Yeah.
Yeah, ne'er-do-wells. I loved that port they were in just because I could have hung out there myself for a while. You could probably gossip for days.
It's like Tortuga, right?
Totally. So, yeah, it was just, children should not be set free to their own devices in a situation like that.
And like they're between a rock and a hard place. They don't know who to trust. I liked that they kept the kids very, like, at least the girls, very skeptical of, what do we call him? Jack? I don't know. Jude Law?
I guess, yeah. Jude Law. Jude. Let's call him Jude.
Can't remember the character's name. Kevin always says we need to watch with subtitles, and he's right. I should, but
he is right. He's always been right. He always will be right.
I think he enjoys not telling the full truth. He's the only one who knows all of it, and he's keeping both the kids and the audience in the dark, which is interesting.
Yes.
At first, people were wondering, is it magnets? Is it like the character Haja from Kenobi, right? And he's using illusion.
True.
And the kids even said, like, mirrors, magnets, string, like you can pretend to have the Force with all sorts of ways. But he really does seem to have it. It makes me wonder, too, since the Empire was hunting Force-sensitive children.
For sure.
And he's much older, so he must have been a child during the time of the Empire, or at least a young person. He would have had to hide his...
Oh, he would have been wise enough. I think someone like his character learns early on what to do. Kind of like Jyn Erso, where you're one amongst many. You learn what to do, what not to do, how to do it right.
Yeah.
You fly a little bit under the radar, so to speak. That sort of thing. And I think he would have known pretty early on if he wasn't told, like, you gotta put this away.
Yeah. But he seems perfectly comfortable flaunting it now and using it in front of kids, and kids are not safe to tell secrets to,
Right.
It makes me wonder a lot about his character. What kind of, like, what is his motivation? It seems like treasure, but it also seems, I was suspicious that maybe he was working for somebody because he could have let himself out of that cell at any time.
For sure.
So was this all a big setup? Granted, him going back for the droid and the sounding the alarm that he broke out of jail, that didn't seem like it would be part of a plan, but it doesn't mean he's not in cahoots with somebody.
For sure. They might not be a pirate. They might be someone higher up.
Exactly.
I mean, what if it's Ventress? Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be interesting.
Loyal to no one, but to the right person, she'll do a favor. He might be of the same mind.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know. It was funny. It was cute. But also, when he went back for the droid, it was just kind of like, what's the point of this? Just to, like, start a chase? The chase was already happening without him being there because they had found out he had escaped already. I don't know. Was it to build trust with the kids? It was a little bit weak and unnecessary. like a little side quest that so far hasn't proven
Yes.
to be. I mean, they needed the droid, but I guess
They did need the droid.
they could have gotten him on their way off world. Like, why
there
think
was
of
a
it?
different way.
They wait till they get back to the ship, and then they're like, "Oh, we need the droid." It's just like, okay, whatever, just go with it, I guess.
I thought it was weird how they went when Jude Law went into like where they kept the droids. It was like a hospital for droids.
Yeah, or like Jabba's torture chamber where they like are burning the droids with metal or something.
Yeah, I was getting the vision like when C-3PO in Empire Strikes Back is he's
Yes.
dismembered, I guess.
Yeah.
And like Chewie has to go round, like get him up and move him.
And he's all put together backwards and
yeah, I was getting a vision of that, but it was a strange room. I feel bad for droids. Everyone's always hating on him.
he's not very nice to them, is he? He's
No,
pretty
and
disrespectful.
not in the charming way that K2 is nice to people, quote unquote. You know, K2 was as loyal as they come, and that makes me very sad. It makes my heart break.
Yeah.
Thinking about him.
I know.
And how good he was, but we'll see where this guy goes because he answers to a captain, and I don't know if any of you all out there, please comment directly to us if you can answer this question. Has anyone out there seen the show Lex? Lexx.
I have not. Why?
It's a cult, I don't even want to say favorite, from like the late 90s, early 2000s. It's a terrible show. It's real campy. It's real cheap. And it was a Canadian-German sci-fi TV show.
Nice, okay.
Okay, it's really over-sexualized and over a lot of innuendos. Okay, for the 4 people besides myself that have seen it, please tell me if you were getting Lex and Stanley vibes from this. This may be an obscure reference no one knows about, but it reminded me of the ship and the captain relationship from that show. The droid answering only to the captain. And I think that girl is super smart. Fern? Mm-hmm. She's really got it together. She's very confident. And then the realest part for me was in whichever episode it was where she breaks down because the weight of all of this is on her shoulders. Mm-hmm. Do I ever feel that in my soul? You know, the one that's expected to be at the top, like her mother. You know, her mother is expecting her to be everything and she can't be everything to everyone. And I felt that. That was a very mature scene for a young person to have.
I thought so too. For both of them.
Like you said.
For both kids.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we have this innocent one who thinks it's all fun and games, and then we have this one who's older than she seems or has been expected to be more mature than her age allows. And it's this struggle. It's like Luke and Leia, you know, and I do think that we'll see Wim catch up to her. Like, if he has any growth in this show, I think that those two will be on an even playing field at some point, and she will eventually befriend him in that way. Right now, she's keeping everyone at arm's length except for her BFF there.
Yeah.
With the I'm doing pretty good with the names, but I can't remember.
I'm terrible at them. I have no idea what their names are. Wim and Neil are the only ones I remember because they're short.
So hers is an initial, isn't it? Like BD or
Yes.
B. Oh, her name is KB.
KB. Okay. I thought it was something with a K. All right. KB, Fern, Wim, Neil. And Crimson Jack.
Correct.
Okay.
Although in IMDb, he's listed as Jod Nanawood.
Jod
Nanawood. Nanawood. I don't know where the emphasis is on the syllable, so it's hard for me to know.
Okay. All right. Jod, not John. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a theory now about why that ship was on Atten.
yeah.
I was like, what's the planet called? Totally forgot.
Oh man, I was so confused in that one episode where they had at dash whatever the planet is. It was at Akin and at Atten. I'm like, you couldn't have made this easier for my brain.
Yeah, I think episode 4 has a lot to dive into with lore I have like mixed feelings about episode 4. I felt like it added a lot right at the end. It like crammed a bunch of interesting stuff in like the last 5 minutes. But then the whole thing about the children at war dragged on a bit long, I felt personally.
Yeah, it didn't really go anywhere either in the end.
Yeah.
Because Jod just showed up. Jude. He showed up with all the Eopies and they didn't have to do anything anyways. It was very strange.
Yes.
It was very strange.
Yeah, it like cut the scene real short. It felt kind of like one of the Jedi Apprentice novels where Obi-Wan goes and is part of these children freedom fighters on some other planet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just like don't have any patience for it. I think the part that was nice was seeing Neil being sweet and realizing that he's still brave even though he's terrified. You know, he's still...
Yeah, but I don't like when people's kindness is labeled weak. Because it's not.
Well, and that's what she says at the end, that it's not weakness, it makes you kind.
Yeah. I just hope that was absorbed by people.
Yeah. He was just such a sweet soul. And everyone else is kind of like f***ing around with war toys like it's going to be a game until they realize that it's a real thing and you're going into battle. But then it wasn't real because Jude Law showed up and then everybody was fine. So it's just like...
it was really strange.
Yeah, what was the point of that? And then they end up at the end, like that was the important part. Could we have not spent more time on that part? Like,
correct. I will tell you, the only thing I really loved about these 2 episodes was that owl cat.
oh, yeah.
At first I was like, what the is this? And I'm like, no, this is kind of cool. It was very Harry Potter.
Yes.
It was like a professor from Harry Potter.
Or like a professor from Harry Potter mixed with Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I thought that was so interesting. And she was kind of a total backstabber, but she's friends with X-Wing pilots. So who does she work for?
Right.
Who's she in cahoots with?
Right.
Who's she reporting back? Who? Get the joke?
What? Well, and her little costume kind of looks like an Empire costume. So was she like working for the Empire? Now she works for the Republic. What's her story?
No. Her story is she's in competition with Krennic for best cape in Star Wars.
She wins, I think, because everything about her is amazing.
She did the whole like swoop in and the whole like she had such an interesting face because it was a cat's face, but she made noises that were neither cat nor owl. Yeah. She's got all these like coordinates to I need to know more. Ahsoka needs to go visit her.
I actually thought that.
Yeah, I thought maybe there's some offhand connection to the good guys, if you will.
Yeah.
She's an interesting one. The fact that she's got X-Wing pilots on speed dial, you know, like that's just and her whole the whole like astronomy setup and like she lives on a moon, like
I think it's
how do you get real estate like that?
The first time ever in Star Wars that we've seen an observatory.
Yes. How is this the first time?
Right, it's been missed. Like this is, you would assume would be very important, but I guess it's old fashioned because it's actually,
I guess,
like,
yeah.
What's the word? The opposite of digital. Now I can't even remember. My brain is totally fried all the time.
Analog?
Thank you. It's an analog building.
You're welcome.
And now they just use holograms in Star Wars, but
I think it's cool. Honest to God, I could talk to her character for hours. And she was really nice at the end.
Yeah.
Saying, like, if you need anything, you know who to call. She, actually, her character very much reminded me of, is her name Maz in the sequel trilogy?
Yeah.
Like a wise character who kind of is just off on their own a little bit, but knows the inside.
Yeah.
In a way, and has secrets and treasures and information and stuff. Maz Kanata. Yeah.
Yeah. I looked up who voiced her because she had such an interesting voice. Did you ever?
There's the owl joke again. Sorry.
God. Have you ever watched Arrested Development?
No. Don't hate me.
No, I'm
sorry.
It's okay. I don't know the actress's
People have told me to watch it.
I mean, it's the first couple seasons were funny. They probably don't hold up in today's outrage culture, but the newer seasons were not funny at all. But she played Maybe in that show. And so to see her like getting to do some fun stuff with Star Wars was really cool. And also Alfred Molina was in this as well, who's a super famous British actor. He was a voice of one of the pirates for just a few minutes.
Oh, how did you know that?
I just recognized.
Did you just know that?
Voice. Yeah, he's just.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
He's a very good voice actor. He's a great actor, but he's got this very particular kind of British accent, and I don't know. Yeah, he was great. He was the little, like, also kind of like a bird, like an owl, bird, hawk. I don't know, the character that found Jude Law in the droid, the droid room. Yeah. And they had like kind of a friendly exchange, but then it's like, did the guy turn him in? I think he did. It was hard to tell.
It was hard to tell. He was a little... Are we talking about the character that landed on the shoulder? I got the vibes of the Kowakian monkeys that Matt Lanter voices in Clone Wars that Hondo has. You know, his little pet that crawls around. Are we thinking of the same?
Full-size character, I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking of that little, like, tree monkey that is all hairy and skinny and weird, and he wanted the payment at the beginning.
He's the, like, ferry pilot, I think.
He's the little ferryman. So many strange characters in this.
I felt like there was so many shout-outs, like subtle shout-outs in this. There were characters that looked like bays in the port. The port had, like, was reminiscent to me of Jeddah, like the Jeddah market.
Yeah.
And then there was a character who ran by shouting that Jod had gotten free, and he looked like a character from the Goonies. And then later... at the very end, which we haven't started talking about yet, but when Smee, I'm going to just call him Smee, the droid, starts talking about the history of At-Aten and that if anyone came looking, he was supposed to kill them, that was like Back to the Future. There's a scene with Biff that's exactly like that. And so I just feel like there's so many Spielberg references, and it's weird because at first I was like, I love that, and then I'm like, these are George Lucas movies.
Yes. Why aren't we paying tribute to the man who created this in the first place?
Yeah, and like I know Spielberg and Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy all produced together. They were a production team. Got it.
Yep.
But it seems a little weird. Maybe this is actually shout-outs to Kathleen Kennedy more than it is to Steven Spielberg, because why are we doing Spielberg in Star Wars movies? He was not related to those movies. I don't know. It's just, it was a thought I had.
So did you like the episodes then? You know how we rated the last few? How would you rate these?
I have mixed feelings about it. Like, I would say in general, yes, I enjoyed it. Episode 3, I found parts of it were weak, but parts of it I really was intrigued by. I really loved the visuals of them landing on the moon and walking horizontally across. Like,
I gotta tell you, the visuals in this show are pretty good. Yeah. They're believable.
Believable and very beautiful.
Yeah, well thought out.
You can tell they cared to make it look a certain way, and the references are just, I don't know. I like even the gas giant planet in the background, it like looked like Jupiter. Oh, yeah. We haven't seen a planet that looked like that yet, and that was really cool to see. We
don't have a lot of gas giants in the Star Wars universe that are talked about, I guess because nothing goes on them.
Right, and
technically.
You can't land on it. So.
You can't, yeah, but no one ever references like going and hiding near one, or, you know, even dumping garbage, how they do. They let it out through the vents and stuff. Like, you'd think you would just send it into a gas planet so it could freeze or burn up. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool to get to see different stuff. And when they were walking on the moon, I also noticed how really nice that shot was. I was like, this is not something we've gotten yet, which is hard to say. We're getting through a lot of stuff, new stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's very visually pleasing, I think.
I'm like you. I have mixed feelings because, like, I started negative, right? And so now I'm trying to climb up from that. And I am. But like you, I thought parts drug on too much. The end of the last episode 4, just kind of was like a flop. Well, the army part, like the, you know, walking with the sticks and you got to be brave and I'll go with you. And then it just didn't do anything. It was just like, oh, that's disappointing, you know.
It was a long sequence.
where I thought it was going was that Neil was going to talk to them and maybe reason with them and see how compromise is easy. I thought that was going to go like the kid would teach the adults something.
Yes.
And it didn't go that way, so.
I thought that too. It was kind of like a weird missed opportunity. I have these moments that stuck out to me and then turned out to be nothing. And I wonder if they're going to come back later. But when they landed on at Akron? Akron, Ohio? Where
at Akron, yes.
Jude Law said that he was like, tastes like ash. And he's like, that's like what my planet was like where I grew up.
I think, like you referenced earlier, there's something more personal about finding whatever he's after. Mm-hmm. It's under this blanket layer of, treasure, but he lost something else or is trying to gain something from his past. There's always something.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I wondered if he was from that planet because he was so quick to be able to negotiate with the other side. They left that scene out. I did laugh really hard when he kneeled down and he was like, just shoot me. And I was like,
right, exactly.
Relatable.
Who else feels like that? Yes. And if General Grievous would have been there, he would have. So you got to be careful who you say that to in this universe.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But seriously, very relatable. Just I don't have the energy for this.
I also noticed too, the more SM33 was talking about and like kept saying, I can't recall anything about that, and then they started kind of opening up his memory. It's like, first of all, he was on Aten. The ship was buried, probably for a reason, if it was an accident or on purpose, whatever the case may be, which means the person
Correct.
who left it there is probably still there and told the droid, shut the droid down, said, you don't know anything, and then left to either blend into society or find the treasure by blending into society. Not necessarily that they wanted to stay there for the rest of their lives, but who knows?
Right. I think it has something to do with Fern's mother. I think there's something there.
Yeah, see, I think it has to do with Wim's father.
Oh, maybe they're like a whole HOA that was stuck there. They're like a makeshift HOA, and they all know the secret. No one's saying anything. They have to make up appearances and yeah.
It could be, because they're all so good, and they're all so committed to the idea. So it's like either they came and colonized it and hid it for a reason, or they snuck in and have blended into society to find the treasure that is, mythological. So, and because Wim feels so bored and so ignored, and he keeps feeling disappointed that, it's almost over. It was just starting to get interesting. And it's like, all along, your dad is the original pirate,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's something there.
There's something there. And the scene where all the parents were together talking, Wim's dad was the only one turned away and kind of not mentally engaged.
Correct. He's wrestling with something.
Yeah, and at first I was like, he feels like, it's a lost cause, and how would they ever find the children? And now I'm like, he knows about that pirate ship already, and he's trying to... He
sure does.
Yeah, and he's wondering... Yep. That's my theory so far.
Those police droids, those things with the single eye, boy, I don't want to get like non-Star Warsy, but that scares me. That's like AI.
It's like the Tesla, robot.
Do I sound like a boomer?
Dude, I'm so freaked out by this stuff. There's that, new Tesla robot that will help around your house. Your TV spies on you. Do you think Elon Musk's robot's not going to be taking notes about everything you like in your house?
This light block I was telling you about earlier turns on when I stand up. Who's watching me besides Google?
Everyone.
Listen here, FBI agent. Okay, well, listen here, FBI Frank, whatever your name is. Leave me and my cat and my Star Wars family alone. We don't want your kitchen help. We don't want your help anywhere.
Don't want your kitchen help.
Stay out my kitchen. No, but those things, that's a guy's too. That is a keep the peace. so that, you know, a droid doesn't have any inflection in its voice. It doesn't have any feelings, allegedly. It doesn't have any...
Yeah.
It's programmed. So they can program the droid to say, stay in the boundary, don't go above this, stay in here. Like, how convenient is that for these adults if they're trying to hide something? I think that Jude Law's character knows all of them somehow.
Somehow he knows about all this.
He's from one of those planets.
Yeah, I think so. But and they even referenced when the owl Kim was saying,
Yes, Kim.
Kim the owl.
The cat owl.
Cat
the
owl.
owl cat. I love her.
She was the one mentioning that there were like multiple planets from the, what did she say it was the Old Republic? I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that
yes.
they were all hidden, but that some of them were destroyed. So he's probably
Yes.
from one of the destroyed planets.
So what happened is, what if we put our theories together? These other ones got destroyed. The survivors of the ones that got destroyed, that didn't abandon those kids on the at Akron, wherever the it is, they colonized this one and said, nobody talk about the other ones, because I bet you any money they all killed themselves
That is such a good theory. It's
over like
probably
some
true.
stupid shit. Unless they were all ex-Empire people and they went to find a safe hold and they thought, this'll do.
That's an interesting theory too.
I know that the mother of Fern said that she works for the New Republic or whatever, that they could just say that. They don't know anything about the actual war.
Exactly. The owl, Kim, which she was asking them details, and the kids didn't know anything.
And they're like, what?
Yeah, they were like, Alderaan, and she's like, you don't know
Right?
what happened to Alderaan? Like,
How do you not know what happened to Alderaan? Rest in peace, Alderaan. Gone but not forgotten.
so the adults know about the New Republic, but the kids don't know anything about the war. So does that mean the adults came here to take shelter during the war? It's kind of like, have you seen The Village?
Yes, I've seen The Village.
It's like The Village. The adults
I didn't
had
think
all
of
this
that.
terrible stuff happen to them, so they bought a piece of land, built a wall around it, lived like it was the olden times, had children, never told them the truth, and let everybody think it was this community when really they're hiding from modern life.
That's brilliant. That's what this is. That's what they're doing.
That's what it seems like. It's like Neverland.
Okay. All right, there's hope yet. There's hope yet for this show. Listen, I'm gonna keep watching. It didn't turn me off the last 2 episodes. I'm in it. I'm in it, folks. I'm gonna keep going.
Well,
Do I like it? No, but this talk that we're having right now has me very intrigued to see where this ends up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. And again, is this supposed to be season 1? Is it a self-contained show? Because Acolyte had lots of cool questions and then got
Sure.
canceled. So,
Yeah.
like, please, if you're not sure there's a season 2, wrap up some loose ends for us. That would be super awesome.
Please. That would be awesome. Because you can't make us like these people and then not do anything with. I mean, they can.
Yeah.
But that's not nice.
It's not very polite.
No. What would Neil say? He's our moral compass.
He's so cute. I loved when he was asleep and he was snoring like a little elephant honks.
I know. Oh, God. I want to go to their house for dinner. Can you imagine that whole family?
Oh my god, they're so cute.
Oh, well, I rate these episodes a cumulative 7 out of 10, 10 being the highest.
Yeah, I would too. There was enough there to intrigue me to want to keep watching. It's not like I felt with Acolyte where I was like excited to watch. It's like, oh yeah, I'll watch that when I have a minute. That'll be cute. Have a cup of tea.
Yes. Yeah. Sit in an airport for 5 hours, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm
Turned out to be enjoyable.
I'm hoping that they keep going deeper and they keep putting some cool layers in. There's so much potential here.
Yes. Don't throw it away like episode 4's end.
Exactly. Don't blow it, guys.
Yeah.
I will say Jude Law is very good, though.
He's fantastic. I mean, it's Jude Law.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. And I like, you can tell he likes those kids. you know?
It was really cute when he, like, rescued them, and then he was saying, like, well, how many furs? And Neil's like, what? He's like, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I do wonder, like, how much of that was Jude in that, you know?
I wonder that, too. Is that part of the character? Is that just him, like, vibing with the scene?
I think he vibes. I think he has from what he said so far about the show, like offhand, I think he has a deep respect for his co-workers, his co-characters, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're doing a really good job. Those kids are holding their own.
Yeah.
Each one is very identifiable with their own personality and their own core issues, if you will, their own struggles and that sort of thing. And like you said in the previous episodes, the kids deserve to have a strong story and their own part in this greater Star Wars thing. And I think so far so good with them. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, this week our question is, what do you think Jude Law's character's background is? Like, is he a good guy? Is he a scoundrel? Was he part of a system of planets that got destroyed and he's trying to find it? Like, what angle do you think his character is? Good guy, bad guy, scoundrel, innocent human in the universe just trying to find his way? Let us know. Because we don't know. We're all guessing right now.
Well, and we'll keep guessing next time. We're going to keep going with Skeleton Crew. So on our next episode, we will be reviewing episodes 5 and 6. Because I think there's 8 total, right? So we're halfway through. So join us back here next time for that.
And thank you so much for joining us here on the Most Things Kenobi podcast. Our patrons, we adore you. And we appreciate every single one of you and are grateful for your support. If you would like to support the podcast and become a patron as well, head over to the Most Things Kenobi Patreon. As always, you can follow us on Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads, and don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you enjoy our podcast, feel free to rate us on Spotify and Apple. And if you need just one place to find all of these, head over to mostthingskenobi.com.
So until next time, my space twin, may the Force be with you.
Always.